Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Stuart here, survivalist shaman. Hope you're all well. I'm on a mission today. I've been swithering whether or not to do this mission, whether or not to do this recording. This recording will be part 1. Basically, if you don't know me, I'm into martial arts, have been since I was 8. I've been into psychic development and meditation, exploring the natural world, the physical world, the spirit world, curiosity. As such, I've developed certain abilities and skills over the years which have allowed me to see and experience certain things over the years. Mostly psychic things. Sometimes things with the physical eyes I've also seen. I then became aware of conspiracies, or what you would call truth-seeking, which is who and what is the people that are behind the scenes running things in a negative way. Secret governments, people call them the New World Order, the Illuminati, the Black Government, the Dark Government, all whatever names you want to give them. For thousands of years, not hundreds, thousands of years, they've been controlling us in every way possible throughout our history. And they've had the backing of, guidance of, or perhaps coercion in a negative way of extraterrestrial races. Now, you'd be crazy to believe that we're alone in this universe. There's probably hundreds of extraterrestrial races. Our history, linked with them, goes back thousands and millions of years. Different planets, different planet systems. Some of them highly evolved, some of them at war, way back. Some of them have come through that and become evolved and are no longer at war. Some of them probably still are at war. Planet Earth has been fought over for centuries and thousands and millions of years for resources, for humans as slaves. Some people even claim they created us with mixing their DNA and our DNA from this planet to use us as slaves to mine for gold and so on. Now, you can look all this up. But at the end of the day, there's many extraterrestrial races, there's many planets, and they've been visiting us for thousands of years. It's not a recent thing. There are good ones and there are bad ones. Some planets are hollow, which means there's life inside the planet. There's whole landscapes, they've got inner suns, they've got seas, they've got landscapes, they've got animals, they've got everything. They're higher vibrational, most of them. So they're maybe 4th dimension, 5th dimension and above. So they are physical, but they're slightly less physical. Atlantis and Lemuria, way back in our history. Basically, the cataclysms that happened, they knew it was coming. The continents shifted, the water levels rised. They prepared for it. They went into different locations all over the planet. They went in different directions. And the wise masters went to places like Egypt and Tibet, other places. That's why you've got all these wise traditions in places like that. The Lemurians, when their continent sunk, they went underground. You can look that one up. They now call it Telos, located under Mount Shasta in California, of all places. I would absolutely love to visit it, love to go there. So there are ancient, very wise, loving and kind, technologically advanced beings from other star systems who have been visiting us for millions of years and are visiting us right now. This planet we're on is kind of a quarantine on lockdown. It's also like an ark. All different types of animals and trees and beings were brought here and dumped for an experiment, essentially, to see how they would live, as well as the different races, how we would live with each other. This planet is a planet of free will, apparently. Other planets are more unified and everyone's mind is linked with everyone else's. They all agree on things, they're all peaceful. This planet's still at war in so many ways. Now, our true history has been hidden from us. For one thing, the planet we live on is not round. It's flat. You can look it up. Look up on YouTube 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. Look it up. I see no evidence against it being round. I see 200 reasons, logical reasons that are provable. I see no other reasons that prove that it's a ball. We've been lied to about that. We are under a dome that they built. It's a huge big dome, obviously. The dome apparently leaked at one point, and that's why you had the big biblical flood of Noah, and it wiped out a lot of continents and a lot of peoples. Whether it was on purpose or an accident, probably on purpose. Now when you go as far as you can in any direction from the centre being the North Pole, you'll hit a nice shelf, a 360 degrees circular ice shelf, very high, and a nice expanse of ice in every direction. That's after you've travelled the oceans. What's beyond that ice wall, you're not allowed to know, because if you go too far in that direction, or if you go to the North Pole or the South Pole, the military will catch you, will detain you, will arrest you, will probably kill you and bury you, and you'll never be seen again. They don't want you to know they've got secret bases there. They don't want you to know that there's polar openings there that take you into the inner Earth, where there are many wise different types of races living in the inner Earth, in a landscape much like Earth, with seas and with rivers and with trees and with animals that are no longer on the planet. Very wise people, fifth dimensional races. They don't want you to go there, because not only will you learn the truth of where you come from, you'll raise your vibration, you'll be free from the matrix that you're stuck in, and it's also a vortex which could take you to other dimensional planes. Now, outside of this ice wall I've spoke of, apparently there's an old Buddhist map, a 1,000-year-old Buddhist map that shows other continents, huge continents, circling the ice wall. They don't want you to know about that extra land. I wonder what's there. Now, in regards to our true origins, we're obviously spirits. That's no debatable, we're spirits. But you can incarnate in different planets and on different bodies, different continents, different things. So we've been doing that. And basically we're trapped within the dome. You get put back into reincarnation. What do? This disturbs me a lot. This is new information. It's always disturbing when you get something new. So, you pass out the body. You see the white light tunnel, it spirals. It's so beautiful, it feels beautiful. Your relatives are calling you, come up into the light, come up into the light. Right? We've been told that's always the thing to do, go into the light. So you do it, you go into the light. What happens? You meet all your family, all these wise guides and masters who tell you, well, you did good on earth, but you did this wrong, you did that wrong, and you offended that guy, so you have to go back and reincarnate so you can fix your problems and get rid of your karma. Once you've got rid of all your karma, you don't have to reincarnate anymore. You can go straight to heaven and return back to God, where we all come from. Problem is, every time you reincarnate, what happens? They wipe your memory. You don't remember your lessons, you don't remember who you are, you don't remember who you were, you don't remember your past lives, you don't remember anything. So how can you remember anything, how can you grow, and how can you advance and go forward if your mind is wiped every single time? You can't. It's the equivalent of you go to high school, you go into first year in high school. What happens? They wipe your memory. Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go back and do that year again. Then they do it again, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go back and do that year again, and they keep doing it to you. You're not advancing, you're not getting anywhere. It's a lie. Apparently they fake the white light, apparently they can fake your relatives, apparently you have to go willingly. If you don't want to go, don't go, because the white light is fake. Apparently the white light place where you go is on the moon. The moon is a hollow planetoid. There's alien bases on the moon, good and bad. Inside the moon is hollow. They call it the moon matrix and the Saturn matrix. Saturn's got a lot to do with it, the planet of death and so on. There are these beings, spirit beings, demigods, not good ones, but they call the Archons. And it's known as the Demiurge. Look that up, look all this up. Now these Archons and this Demiurge, what do? They take perfectly beautiful spiritual beings who are wise and powerful and know everything. That's us. They want to play a game. Let's manipulate them. They know we're more powerful than they are, but they want to play a game and manipulate us. So what do? They make up this fake white light, this fake heaven. They trick us into reincarnating over and over and wiping our memories. They keep us serving them, working for the New World Order, doing jobs, menial tasks, draining our energy off of us, having us fight each other, antagonising us so that the negative energy builds up and we have wars, and they get off on it. They get off on wars, they get off on suffering, they draw the energy into themselves of that suffering. And they keep us going, doing this for thousands of years. Now you can look it up. The moon, our moon, was not always there. It was moved into place. The Dogon, one of the oldest African tribes, have stated this, that in their verbal tradition, where it's passed from adults down to the kids each generation, so that it's kept fresh, that the moon wasn't always there. Now, you'll see cave paintings and tribal stories of gods coming down all over the world, and they're not gods, they're extraterrestrials with advanced technologies and psychic abilities. You can kill them, they can bleed just like us. But they've been manipulating us and controlling us like that for thousands of years. So become wise about these things, guys. Look into it. Learn your true history. The true geographical history of what the planet is like and what Earth is like is a lie. It's all been made up. It's all a fictional lie. Who's really running things? You don't know. You're not looking into it. You're not going to know unless you look into it. Everything you know about the planet, the planets, the universe, the human body, history, everything is distorted, hidden from you, covered up, and you need to look into it, because if you don't, you're just a fool. Sorry to be so blunt. You're an absolute fool if you don't look into everything and question everything, seek answers. That's what your mind and brain is there for. You are multi-dimensional super beings of power, of light, of wisdom, of love. But you settle for menial tasks and menial jobs in your daily life. You eat junk food, you watch TV, you go to work, you get angry. You don't question things. That's what they want you to do. They want to keep you in chains, and you're quite happy to be in chains. Why are you quite happy to be in chains? You're not some stupid wee physical body that just dies and lives once and that's the end of you. You're not a slave. You're a multi-dimensional super being with ultimate power. You are God walking about. You are goddess walking about. If you don't look into that, why the hell? Just bury yourself now. Because you're wasting everyone's time, including your own. Sorry to be so blunt. Anyway, folks, if you're still with me, thank you. Look into everything. Question everything. Okay? You'll find misinformation in amongst it, but the more you research, the better you'll become at sifting through it. So, that's a basic background of myself, the universe and everything in it, and so on. Now, today, I'm on a mission. I have had something I never thought I would ever have. As a conspiracy researcher. Experiences with what you would call extraterrestrials. Now, they weren't entirely positive, but it was a learning experience, and it opened my mind that these things are here with us, they are real, they are visiting, and you need to watch out for them. Now, some people will disagree that they're aliens. Some people will say that they're demons pretending to be aliens in disguise. Some people will say they've been man-made in military labs like Area 51. They'll say that they're half physical, half cyborg. They'll say that they're genetic, half alien, half human. They'll say that they're half alien, half animal, and so on. I don't actually know. I think it's a mixture of all of these things that they could well be. The ones I'm referring to is the Greys, the Grey race. Now, look them up. Look up on the internet the Greada Treaty, right? 1955. A race known as the Blues, blue-skinned beings, enlightened beings, nice beings from a star system, probably Sirius. They come to Earth to talk to the governments. End up talking to the American governments. Eisenhower is there, President Eisenhower. They're saying, hey, we want you to learn and evolve, become a super race like us, so that we can all be living together as a brotherhood in the universe, a planetary guild. But we can't have you doing it because you're blowing things up with nuclear weapons and bombs now. We're worried that you're going to kill each other, or you're going to go into space and start killing everybody else on planets that are peaceful. So if you agree to disarm, we'll teach you all the spiritual things you need to know to become beautiful and peaceful and live in harmony and get rid of diseases and get rid of wars and give you the technologies that you need to make everything beautiful. The government said, no, I don't want to disarm, I don't trust you. So then along come the Greys, negative little bastards. They come along from Zeta Reticuli and they say, hey, we don't care if you disarm or not. We'll give you all these cool technologies and stuff if you let us experiment on humans and animals whenever we feel like it. We'll only take a certain amount of people and animals. And in return for that, we'll give you all the technologies you could ever want, including weapons and spaceships. So the stupid government's like, yeah, that's a cool idea, right, we'll do that. So instead of being peaceful, they go with the baddies. But the Greys, because their race is dying out because they have nuclear wars and their genetic structure's breaking down, they want to mix their DNA with our DNA to try and fix their race. But they're manipulative, nasty little shits. So, we agree and we get their technology and they start taking whoever they want when they want and being really nasty about it, and they break the treaty. But then we try to get them off the planet and we have a fight with them. We can't get them off the planet because they're dug in. And then we find out places like the Dulce base, Area 51, they've been here way before us. They've got bases all over the planet. It's not so easy to get rid of them now. So, that's where we stand. So, this guild that I talk of, the Great White Brotherhood, the Federation of Galactic Federation of Planets, call them what you want to call them, there's different names for them. A lot of enlightened planets have seen what's going on and they want us to be peaceful. But they don't want us to go out into space and start killing everything. They also don't want us to be manipulated by negative alien races anymore, like the Greys or the Reptilians, who have been manipulating us and controlling us. So they basically try and kick these guys off the planet and quarantine the planet until we're at a position where we learn and grow and evolve and become good guys, and then we can join them and they'll take the quarantine off and we can travel into space with them. Apparently there's something called Solar Warden. There's a guy called Gary McKinnon, an autistic guy who basically started hacking into the computers in America and NASA and CIA computers. You can look him up. He found lots of secret documents and things that he's downloaded and all the rest of it. They were trying to take him to America to try him in America for treason and all the rest of it, but he's not an American. So part of the thing he found and spoke of is this Solar Warden program. Now if you imagine the giant destroyer class ships that all the planes take off from in the ocean, in the military, they have things like that floating about in space, and its spaceships are taking off from them. They're apparently patrolling the universe way out past the moon and beyond. Sorry about that, guys, you can hear that. So they're patrolling the universe. Now whether or not they're good guys or not, I don't know. They're supposed to be in contact with other races. One of the races is, they call themselves the Blue Avians. They're like these blue bird people. Sounds crazy, I know, but apparently thousands, millions of years back, different races were doing what we're doing now, start manipulating DNA, mixing with animals and all the rest of it, so you end up with like bird people and cat people and dog people, dolphin people. Sounds crazy, but it's probably going on. Anyway, so we have Gary McKinnon with the information about the Solar Warden. So we apparently are going out into space. Although space is debatable, some people are saying space is actually water now, that there is no actual space, it's actually water. The dome that surrounds the Earth has a 2-layer system, and within the 2-layer system, believe it or not, there's water. It stops ultraviolet rays and all the rest of it coming through. Anyway, look up all this stuff, look up the flyers, look up everything. So now you've got all this basic information, whether you had it or not. I'll tell you a little story about me. The place I'm living at the moment, I've lived there probably about 15 years. Out of those 15 years, I've had nothing but trouble with antisocial neighbours, criminals, people with drugs, people with guns, alcoholics, schizophrenics, antisocial neighbours, nasty people. The whole time. I've managed to keep the head, be calm, all that time. Not easy to do. Anyway, we moved out for a year because it got that bad. I was going to go up the stairs and hammer the guy. So we rented our flat out to two brothers who wrecked our flat. And whilst we were out, we were staying down the road from where we are. Quite a peaceful, quiet place actually. Apart from the neighbours right across from us, who ironically were wee Neds that knew people in the stair that we were in. Crazy how that works. Coincidence. Anyway, I moved out for a year and it was quite peaceful and quiet. I then lost my job again. We had to move back in. The company that we were renting the property, our property, through didn't really care very much that they had wrecked our flat. Didn't basically have the right attitude. And I had to move back in. That's not the major important thing, that's just a basic background. Now this is the most important part coming up of this whole video, if you're still with me. So I moved down the road and I'm going to work as you do, and I'm coming home and I'm looking up conspiracies and martial arts and I'm looking up aliens and things on the internet. Now I find it interesting that my whole life I've had psychic experiences, and to then suddenly start having physical sightings of things physically there in front of you, that changes things. I'll give you a basic rundown. When I was younger, I lived in a house that was pretty badly haunted. What people call night terrors. You wake up, you can't move your body, something's growling at you, you feel an evil presence in the room, you can't move, you're paralysed. That happened to me all the time, it still does from occasion. I've learnt from it. Not nice. Don't know if it's demonic or if it's the greys. Anyway, I used to go into my kitchen and the door would slide across, and underneath where the door would slide across we used to store the coal back in the day. Now, what basically happened there is I always get a bad feeling from the kitchen all the time. I got so sick of it, I was like, I'm sick of being scared of this, I want to know what it is. I went in and I locked myself in, I pulled the door over and I sat in the dark. I said, show yourself. This thing appeared. A green slimy face with long ears, long nose, yellow eyes and little sharp teeth. Much like the old vampire movie Nosferatu, if you've ever seen that, that's what it looked like. And I'm looking at it right in the eye saying, so this is a thing that's supposed to be scary, that's been scaring me all these years. It's just, you can't do anything to me. You've got no power. Away you go, it disappeared. That was physically in front of me, I saw that, physically in front of me. So, that was one of my physical experiences. Was it an alien? Was it a reptilian? Don't know, possibly. So, one day I'm training in the martial arts and I go up to a local park where I used to go. I'm training my weapons, I'm doing my ninjutsu, going through my routines. I sit down as I always used to do and I meditate afterwards to calm down. I then open my eyes and I find it's gotten dark. So I must have been sitting there a while and gone quite deep. For no reason at all, I turned to my right hand side, far corner of the square park. And what can only be described as a Michelin Man, if you know what a Michelin Man shape is. I know it sounds comical. A pink Michelin Man, about 3 foot tall, coming away from me to the corner of the park and disappears down the hillway. Now, I don't know what that was. I still don't know what that was. I don't know if that was an alien grey. I don't know if it was what you would call your gnomes or whatever you want to call them. I'm curious to find out what that was, but it didn't give me any trouble. So many years later, I'm working in a job in a shopping centre as a cleaner. And part of the job is to go down below and sort the waste out. So I'm doing that and it's quite dark down there. And I see this thing standing. And it's what it's basically doing is it's sneaking around. If you've ever heard of what they call a morph suit, It's like a skin tight lycra type, silky type material that goes right over your face as well. This guy's wearing one of these things, dressed all in black, and then he basically sneaks around, sees me, runs across the road and disappears out of sight. Now I don't know what the hell that was. Aliens and demons and all the rest of it have the ability to change into different forms and appear how they want to appear. That was physically in front of me. And there's cameras and everything down there. That was another experience. Another experience I had after that, I went down to a waterfall further away from where I lived for meditation and so on, and I see what looks like a ninja guy dressed as a ninja sneaking around physically in front of me and disappears. Now that's crazy. I don't believe it's some actual physical ninja guy sneaking around, because you know, I've done ninjutsu, the martial art, and I don't think that's what it was. So whatever it was sneaking around me and watching me, reading my mind perhaps, appearing as a ninja, because they can appear how they want to appear. So that was another physically in front of me experience. I have had, when I was working in the shopping centre, walking around up top, a couple of guys walked past me, plain clothes, said my name to each other, and went, "That's him there," and continued walking. Undercover guys, who they're working for I don't know. I've also had people stop in the street and start taking photographs of me at a distance, and when I look at them, all of a sudden they get nervous and they start pointing it up the way or down the way, or pointing the camera away from me, pretending they were picturing something else. I've also had, and you're going to think this is all crazy, right? I've had vehicles parked outside my house, different places I've lived. White vans, red vans, you name it. Parked outside the house, monitoring your Wi-Fi, watching you with binoculars, whatever, you know, as they do. And yeah, usually when I'm posting stuff on Facebook or YouTube about conspiracies or psychic stuff or aliens. So, yeah, I'm a person of interest apparently. So now where am I right now? I'm in a woods, very small woods, just opposite the place I used to live. The place I used to live for a year when I moved out, where I had that experience. Now, let me tell you about that experience. Let me just check this camera's still filming. Okay, we're still filming. So I'm looking up conspiracies and stuff on the internet. I get a psychic impression someone's looking at me through the wall, telepathically tuned into me. So I say to myself, okay, this is weird. So I say to it, "Who are you? What do you want?" I get a picture of an alien grey under the street, probably about 60 foot away under the street, under the speed bump under the street. Now, it's sitting there tuned into me, watching what I'm watching, as if it's looking through my eyes telepathically. So I go through the kitchen, and it's dark, getting dark at this point, and I say to it, "Okay, show yourself in." It comes up through the street. If you've seen the film The Predator, you know what I mean. It looked like that. It had a sparkle around it, like a yellow sparkle, heat haze. I could see right through it, but I could see its body shape. It was definitely an alien grey with the long arms. It starts running towards me along the hedge, using its arms to run, and it just disappeared out of sight. I was like, that's weird. Then my refrigerator, starts beeping and turns itself off, as if it's messing with the refrigerator. So nothing more happens until I wake up and I hear this noise. Now the noise I hear, if you've ever had the old computer games, the ZX Spectrum games and things like that, you hear the weird loading noise where it squeaks and it makes all these weird noises. Or if you've heard of binaural beats, it's kind of like a mixture of the two of those. I sense and I hear the sound coming from its chest. At the same time I'm hearing it inside my head, like actually inside my head. And I get a feeling it's come into the room, through the wall, and it's at the other side of the room. Within a split second it's gone from that side of the room to this side of the room. It then proceeds, whilst this noise is going on, to stick its middle finger, its long finger, in behind my left ear, like it's trying to implant something into me. I grab it with both hands and I pull that hand out away from my head, and I basically shout at it angrily. About 30 seconds later my girlfriend comes into the room, turns the light on, she's like, what's going on? And obviously I explained to her, but this thing's disappeared by then. Now, for the next 4 weeks I've got vans outside my house coming and going. I never see the driver. One time I do catch the driver, and it's a guy with a long beard all over his face, so I couldn't identify him, probably on purpose. And I'm posting on Facebook, yeah, I know you're watching me in your van and all the rest of it. And it's because I said that, the very next day the van's gone. Like the shit, I've been rumbled, I've been found out, so they go away. So for the next 4 weeks I'm hearing this noise occasionally in my head. And there was one day in particular, it's raining in my neighbourhood, I'm still in that flat, and everybody's miserable when it rains. This thing sits on the street, everybody in the neighbourhood, and is drawing all their negative energy, their sadness into itself and loving this energy, and I'm sensing and seeing it connected to this thing telepathically for some reason. I then to work. I feel what they call the meadows in my city. In the bus, and I can sense these underneath the grass, and I can hear that noise again.